I'm going to speak, I changed my mind because the previous speakers, they have been really great, so I was going to speak about the project of Agora Digital, but I changed my mind and I'm going to speak about coffee.
Okay.
So, 7 months ago, the OK girl is called Irene Garcia, invite me to come here to Glasgow University. But unfortunately, for personal reasons, she was not able to receive me. And it was Lindsay who received me. And when I arrived, she said, I'm Lindsay, hello, do you remember me? Because we met 2 years ago in just one day in Castelló, because of Irene as well. And why not to have a coffee? Then I will notice that it was a normal thing for Lindsay. And we go to the coffee shop, and Lindsay asked me, what do you do as a researcher? I asked to her, yes, as a researcher. A lot of things, but the last thing that I've been working, it has been Agora Digital project. So the thing that I'm going to do today is trying with the same duration, maybe with the coffee, to reproduce that coffee that we have 7 months ago together, and it's part of the reason that we are all here. So, shall we start? She's Maria Josep Picó. She was the girl who is supposed to be here presenting that conference, but for personal reasons, again, she's not here. She already had the ticket, flight, all that, but last week a thing happened that it doesn't allow her to join today us, but she's pretty well disposed to collaborate with the project, and she's going to collaborate and to help us in our online strategy in the next months. And it has been in 1 year before another coffee. I did some research studies, and they asked you for a report that you think that nobody is reading when you are writing down. But maybe in my university people read a report, and when Maria Josep asked for somebody who helped her to prepare a project about transmedia narratives, in the research office they say there is a crazy guy who is working in that area, he's going to France, to Portugal, and always he tried to learn something. I don't know if he got it, but he tries to learn something about transmedia. So we meet between the research office with a coffee, and we prepare the Agora Digital project. But it's her fault, not mine. I'm just a collaborator of Maria Josep Picó. The goal is very easy: implementation of transmedia narratives in institutional scientific communication and in the promotion of responsible research. Our goals are to get more funds. If we communicate better, people know us better, and it's easier to convey politicians to give us funds for doing our job. Second goal is connecting with society. It's clear. Take profit from the new communication channels and increase the impact of our research and of our brand as a researcher as well. Okay, this was there were the goals, and the reason is simple. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, this image with a lot of screens. Sorry.
I wanted to take a picture of the previous slide.
Okay, of course. The next image, the next picture, it was impossible. So, if everything has changed, what we don't try to change just a little. It's not become crazy and doing things in a different way and start learning again or whatever, but we need to change, we need to move, because you recognize yourself in that picture with a lot of screens, and in your daily life you are doing that. So as a researchers, we need every day to remember us that we need to adapt our workflow to that reality. Okay? So the questionnaires in Spain, in Britain is pretty similar, told us that people prefer consume content, scientific content from social media and from YouTube. And which part of our time we dedicate to generate content for social media and from YouTube? 5%? 1%? In my case, maybe less than 10% of my time. And people, society, these channels are the way that they are consuming science. So we are not connecting with society because we are in the place that society are not looking for us. The concept of research, responsible and innovation is a mindset, not an activity. That means RRI is present in all European projects right now, and is the concept that research should have an impact in society. We need to identify our publics and our stakeholders, and always when we planify whatever, we need to take into account society, to be transparent. Everything can't be transparent, but part of our daily work should be transparent, and in that way we can arrive to YouTube, to social media. This is called RRI, Responsible Research and Innovation. Maybe you already know that. If you don't know, in the next 2 years, 3 years, you are going to listen about that a lot. Okay, that concept is key for receiving funds right now. Do you know what is that? What does represent this image? Ivory Tower?
How the public perceive academia.
Yeah, this is the way that society are looking to us. This is true, this is not. The Ivory Tower is working or not?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course.
It's true? Everybody agrees? Everybody, yeah? And what can we do to change that? Or it's necessary to be in an ivory tower? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for that. But we should take in mind that people are seeing us on the top of an ivory tower. It's a problem. It's a problem always, but right now, if we are in a net society, in a liquid society, the ivory tower is all totally disconnected. And for having funds, we need to be influent. We need to be able to claim the interest of society in order that they oblige the policy makers to destine funds to us. In other way, we can not do our job. So this is a problem that we have, and it's a serious problem. We need to change. Maybe the ivory tower, maybe to be isolated is necessary, but close to this tower, maybe it's a good idea to have a tree with branches and to little by little incorporating the new windows. But little by little, not in 2 months, because the trees need normally time, need 3-4 years, little by little, and schedule, and incorporating not all the possibilities, but the possibilities that match better with our interest and with our skills. This is you just know this metaphor, the iceberg. The important thing always for us is continuing to be our papers, the visible part, our papers, our conference, our books, but as people, as society is consuming the contents under their water, we should decide which part of our daily work could be shared in social media, on YouTube, in podcast. Okay, always, all of us are doing jobs that is not public. Some of them, in my opinion, should remain in private, but another part maybe is good for us to share. And the key thing is to design an internal communication prepared to be easy to share in real time one part of the content. Email, for example, a good news, it's much better to capture the screen of an email with a good news that I received and just directly share in social media than explaining in a post what's going on or whatever. So you should design your screen, the email, the visual aspect or whatever, not for being sharing in all the time, just in case. Okay? Internal and external communication. 10 years ago were different areas. Right now are still different areas, but are connected. Okay? They are not boundaries. Liquid society, remember. This is Agora Digital again. This is our our project. Our collaborators mainly was the Unidad de Cultura Científica of Universitat Jaume I. The institution we have in the page web of the university, a blog as well, and Twitter was the other platform that we use for sharing content. The results of the project were that the 41% of the participants, 10 groups of the university, 10 research groups, the 41% has started or increased the use of Twitter for research purposes. There are examples of people that never ever have opened Twitter, and in 2 months they were using Twitter and they were receiving benefits from using Twitter in their impact, in the possibility to find partners for projects or whatever. In just the project was less than a year, and the results arrived in the first 2 months. We got the first results. But be careful. They are not all benefits. You know what is that? This is Instagram, the post with more likes ever in Instagram. Okay, this is just an egg, no more. Okay, and the goal it was to the world record egg. No, do you find the sense of that? You know? Okay. And do you know what is that? Nuggets. This is the related with the tweet with more retweets ever. It's a guy who write down, hey, a brand, I don't remember the brand. Hey, brand, how many retweets do you need for receiving a free year of your nuggets? This is the tweet, more retweeted ever. So be careful, because these new nets are useful, but if you don't focus on your real goal that you are trying to get using them, you will become full. You will become inside the net, not using the net. Okay? You will be caught by the net. So remember coffee, interpersonal, face-to-face communication is key, and just the online is working if you mix in the proper way with face-to-face and interpersonal communication. Really, thank you. Questions? I don't-
You lose the heart.
This is a box, not in the camera. If I talk past I disappear.
Can I ask a question about your style? So this is more from the perspective of communicating, but I noticed that you use an image a lot, or a metaphor.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
I've been working in television for 15 years, and in television we have an expression called potato potato. It means that many times in television, when you are speaking about something, I say potato and I show a potato. So I try to not write down the things that I'm saying, or on the contrary, to be complementary, because you are a very intelligent people and you don't need that I repeat in the images, to try to be complementary. But it depends on my mood when I prepare that. I need to change. And I think the most important thing when you are presenting or when you are communicating is that you believe in the things that you are going to tell others. Because if you believe, you have one chance that the rest of the people believe in you as well. And try to enjoy it.
How do you face the challenge to increase your audience at Twitter? Because you create an account, for example, Agora Digital Project, and well, you can include all information about all the projects, but how is the strategy to increase the number of followers? Because there is a problem, for example, in Spain, that the most accounts that has been followed are not related with any kind of science. Even most of the people doesn't know who are the main, for example, the most prestigious Spanish scientifics in the world, maybe. So
why do you want followers? What is your
Yeah,
goal
maybe-
when you are trying to get followers?
maybe the followers maybe it's not the correct concept, but maybe the audience.
Okay,
How do you
then
reach
if you
the-
communicate, you need an audience.
audience.
We agree. Okay.
So how do you reach?
This is not the theory. This is my opinion. Now, if you think I don't perceive. For me, it's not important to have a lot of followers. For me, the important thing as a researcher is that Google treats me well. If I want to exist right now, I need to be in the first page of results of Google, in the 10 first results. If I create original content and I do in a fair way, in the middle term, Google is going to treat me well and I'm going to see it. If you have 10,000 followers but you are trying to do that in not a proper way and Google notice that, Google is going to punish you and you are going to start again and again and whatever. So we need to focus on our goal. If you are building your brand as a researcher to be recognizing the things that you are doing, because I think we share that goal, is the real objective is to be in the first page of results of Google, and it's just to create original content, to do in a fair way, and to have a kind of schedule, not to do a lot of things in June and then the rest of the year doing anything. If you only have time to dedicate in June, it's a good idea to elaborate the content in June and then schedule for having at least one content each month. To platforms, don't put all the eggs in the same basket, you know, because Facebook can close or whatever. So let's do 2 platforms and always mixing with face-to-face communication. Face-to-face communication multiply online communication and vice versa.
It's very interesting what Google can pick from you, you know, because sometimes just by fun, I just put my full name with surnames and see what appears in Google from me, what they know about me, basically. And appears very strange things sometimes, you know, pictures from a conference that you were years ago, something I did in Brazil that I didn't even remember what it was about. It was an interview that Esteban did for us in the radio.
Yeah, I accept all kind of people in my podcast.
So, I mean, it's very interesting what can you find in Google, you know, it's just interesting, yes.
And it's the key, I think, that when somebody Googles you, they can find you very quickly, or Google's you, or Google the subject that you are working on.
Yes.
Both. Okay, and this is the key.
Mhm.
Forget the number of likes, the number of followers. This is important, of course, but the main goal is that Google, because Google, what is the goal of Google? Google, the danger of Google is that internet becomes in garbage, in a dustbin bin. So Google promote the content that their algorithms think that is original and add value. So if you are original, no copy, or copy very well, and add value, you are going to be in the middle term, not next week, but in the middle term, you are going to be well treated by Google. So you are going to exist, so you are going to have chance to develop in the online world. Okay?
What about this idea, we've talked about it before, and it goes back to what Emma said as well, about creating like a research brand,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you become the sort of spokesperson for whatever area you're particularly interested in. I mean, I think you do that a little bit with
Yeah.
Transmedia.
Yeah, I do have two options, and I have a web page called sorry, it's Windows, sorry, and this is a hard decision to take. I have a web called transmedia.com. Okay, this is my blog. This is the way that I publish mainly the books or articles, podcasts, and events that I participate. Okay, you have two options. You can create a blog or a Facebook page or a Twitter account about your research subject, or the other option is to create this space with your name. Many people do that with their name, and it's a good idea because it's not probably that you are going to change your name. Okay, and it's probably that you in 10 years you could change your research interest or the name or whatever. As I don't like to be very I like to separate me and my job. I choose the option of the line research because it allows that right now I'm managing that space, but maybe in 5 years it could be Emilio who manage that space, that web page. It's not necessary. I believe in teamwork, in co-creation, and it's a way to facilitate the incorporation of more people in the project. And Transmedia is communication and transmedia, and it allows me, for me it's interesting, radio, television, interpersonal communication, and that concept could integrate all of that. But this is a decision that you should take, using your own name or using the subject that you are interested in. And it has pros and cons, both options.
You said that Google is a must to have a real reference. So does that mean that we must have a web page, and around we can have social media? Because if, for example, I create something to spread the science,
Yeah.
and I'm only creating it on Facebook or Instagram, does that make a problem? Should I have a web page?
Yeah. 3 years ago it was easy to answer that question. Right now I have not an answer for that question because young people, are using Instagram profiles as a web page because it's easier, and nobody's going to a web page right now. Nobody's going to blogs. They are arrived to the blog or to the web page between social media. So young people think, if I need social media for people get in my space, why I can't use directly social media as a space, for example. Then they, for example, design an Instagram profile for defining as a portfolio, and then use Facebook or Twitter to attract people to the Instagram profile. They are using Instagram profiles as a web page, okay, in a very engaging ways. But the cons, always there is an obstacle, is that maybe in 2 years Instagram is going to be closed by European Union because they are spying us, I don't know, and whatever, and you are in the risk to lose that. If you have an own blog or own web page, this is your space. This is not a rent space. So this is a decision. Young people, and normally young people in the long term are right in that kind of questions, are using Instagram as a web space because you need always a base, a place that you feel as your place in the internet. Okay, for showing your portfolio, your projects, whatever. 3 years ago, maybe I will tell you, you need a blog, but right now I don't know. I'm not sure of that.
Because also on social media, it's maybe more easy to have review. On story, for example, we can have the direct review of the followers. So I'm questioning the pertinence of a web page.
Yeah.
That's why.
It depends as well of your skills, what is easy for you or not, and try to take a decision. And always thinking in the long term. In internet, things, we have here Emilio Saez, is going to speak tomorrow, and he's very skillful in that kind of things. And the key is to think in the long term, not never in the next week, not take decision for the result of the last post or whatever. Be coherent, be constant, and in the long term, and thinking always in Google, because it depends on Google that you exist in the online world or not.
In terms of funding, right? You did talk about funding and sourcing of funding. Are you in the long term? Are you looking at having sub-units at the university level for, let's say, platforms at the university level? Let's say University of Bordeaux, we have a unit where it's a unit for transmedia and communication and research, where students with new papers and publications could also come in, and then this unit will help them kind of develop and transition from just the ordinary paperwork publication to the new forms of media and other outlets that they can use, like the Facebooks, the short videos and stuff like that. Are you looking towards that direction in the long term?
Yeah, it's very important, the stakeholders. This is not a date, there are more people involved in that project, but there are institutions, universities, radios, departments, companies that are collaborating with that project. Okay, and always is try to do that in a natural, in an organic way. Identify the stakeholders, and maybe many times because I don't have time, many times, I contact or not contact, and they are who write me and say, do you have a problem that we broadcast your program, or that we upload some content or whatever? And always my answer is, why not? If you believe in me, I believe in you, we are going to collaborate, and this is key, the stakeholders. People, the win-win strategy, I believe a lot in that, and it's key. And the first step is your own institution, your own university is the most interested partner that you always have at the beginning and in the middle term as well. Yeah.
What's the difference about use this kind of web or social media and academic Google? I mean, in Google you can put it just your documents and
Yeah.
they can take it and use it. I don't know what is the profits about use one and not the other one.
The problem is that you need to use both. Because society is in social media, in YouTube, and academics are in Google Academia and the books, editors, and whatever. So you need to be in the both areas. Right now, you are not in the position as a young researcher, especially you are not in the position to choose. I am only to be with society. I am only to be with researchers. You need to deal both aspects, and the key thing is to distribute your time. What percentage of time are you going to dedicate to dissemination? 10%? 15%? I started this project because I use an app, sorry I don't remember the name of an app, because it was to monitorize your time. And I discovered that more than 70% of my time was administrative tasks. And it's because I thought to myself, you need to become urgent the things that are important. And a way to become urgent the things that are important is to have an schedule and to be obliged to dedicate 2 hours per week to do something, to create a content, to learn new things, whatever. So you need to be in the both scenarios. The decision that you have is which percentage of the time are you going to dedicate to that kind of task.
Okay.
This is not good, this is not bad, this is life. This is the scenario. More questions? Really, thank you. Thank you.